It doesn't look like the Save America Act is going to survive the Senate. The upper chamber Democrats say it prevents women from voting because when they don't have a government ID, they're required to show a birth certificate to prove citizenship, but most have a different name than what's listed on their birth certificate, and they take their husband's name when they marry. So why is that not an issue?
Well, first of all, there's an exception for all of the requirements in the bill, so there are no issues that can be raised. And we're talking about the same documents that people have to show when they fill out an I-9 form when they get a new job. And I haven't heard any Democrats ever complain about that. And as we all know, those of us who've gotten married a long time ago, for some of us, our wives had no problem getting any of these documents. That was not an issue. They're making it up because they're used to playing a gender card, so this was the best they could come up with, and it's just a lie. If you look at page 12 of the bill, this is addressed on page 12 of the bill, of the SAVE Act. It's a non-issue, and them saying it's an issue doesn't make it so. As a former state senator, a friend of mine used to say, saying it's so, don't make it so. And the Democrats really just hope it will. Now, I would point out that a week before the SAVE Act was brought to the floor, Chuck Schumer said, this is Jim Crow 2.0, this voter ID stuff. And then after a week of debate and discussion where they can't present a legitimate argument against voter ID and proving citizenship, now Chuck Schumer says, well, I mean, we'd support voter ID, of course. That's no problem. It's this other stuff that we object to. Well, last week it was Jim Crow 2.0. We need to keep having this debate because the needle is moving in the direction of common sense and of finally getting voter identification and protecting our voter rolls, making sure that only citizens are registered to vote. Yes, that's the law today, that only citizens can vote, but there's no way to enforce it because of federal frankly, Washington messing it up in the past, and federal court rulings. Washington broke it. Only Washington can fix it. States can't fix this problem. It has to be fixed in Washington.
Senate Republicans expanded the Save America Act by adding restrictions on mail-in voting, transgender bans. Would a clean bill improve its chances of passage?
So those are amendments that are part of the process. Whenever you add things, you create more reasons to vote no. I would note that really all the two transgender items are 80% support items, just like voter ID and just like citizenship voting confirmation. The only controversial one is restricting mail-in ballots to those who need them, meaning for excuse absentee voting, the elderly, disabled, people on travel or deployed with the military, all of which the president supports. That's merely a 65% issue. But the more things you add to a bill, the more no votes you collect. So we certainly at least want to see Washington fix the mess it's made on the citizenship front and correct the voter ID floor that was established in the Help America Vote Act over 20 years ago, but it includes things like utility bills that are useless. We would like to see government photo ID, and the American people agree with that. Democrat voters support this. Democrat voters support this. Independent voters support it. Republicans, libertarians, vegetarians. This is universally popular. The Senate should be passing this. It's common sense election security, and it'll give even the losers more confidence that elections they just lost were run correctly and cleanly. And instilling that kind of confidence is something the Senate should get off its butt and do.
Ken Cuccinelli, former acting Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security, National Chairman of the Election Transparency Initiative. Thank you for sharing your time and insights. We appreciate it.
Good to be with you.